Hi, and welcome to day nine. Day nine. So, Let's Book Better Challenge is a 10-day challenge. It's 9 days of content, and the 10th day is just kind of wrapping stuff up and thinking about next steps. So, this last day of content, actually, when I look at what I included on Podia, it's pretty full. There's a lot in there. So, don't worry if it takes you more than a day to process some of these ideas. So, really, the question that I posed at the top of day nine is about mindset, like overthinking things, negative self talk, that sort of stuff. But for me, all of this, and actually, I position myself as a coach for all or nothing people because that's kind of the pathway where I've come from. So I realised probably a couple of, well, I've always called myself a perfectionist and I thought it was a good thing. And I guess I realised maybe a couple of years ago that there were things about perfectionism that were actually causing me quite a lot of problems. And I've been working on it. And so the section in Podia here talks a lot about kind of knowing that I am capable of doing some pretty good stuff now and again, but that I wouldn't necessarily do that consistently. So I'd have bursts of greatness, for want of a better word, and then these periods of time where I was kind of coasting or even just kind of idling along and feeling disappointed with myself, feeling guilty, like I should be doing more as a mum, should be doing more in my career, should be doing more with my health and fitness, whatever it is. And I'd go through these cycles of being really, doing too much, trying to fit it all in, and then having these off periods where I just kind of started being not that great to myself. But always none of this was that big of a problem. So it seemed just normal, and that's how life was supposed to be. And I suppose it's only quite recently that I've realised that I could improve this situation and feel genuinely as if I am happier and more positive more of the time, not all of the time. So one of the realizations that I had was that perfectionism is quite a good sort of socially acceptable way of protecting yourself from various sources of fear. These might include fear of missing out, fear of uncertainty, fear of ridicule, fear of even the weirdest one, actual success. So sometimes you have this goal and this thing that you'd love to do, but you can't quite visualize what your life will be like if you do it. Like, let's say, that you're going to quit. You secretly think, oh, if I won the lottery, I'd quit my job and I'd do X. But what would life actually look like if you did that? And for me, for a long time, I think I was almost nervous of if I've been a lot bigger than I am now. I'm not skinny now, but I've been a lot bigger than this. And I think when I was at my biggest, there was almost a fear of what life would be like in a smaller body. And so I kind of put perfectionism, I can't do it perfectly, so I just won't do it yet. It's quite a good way of procrastinating. So how did I break out of this cycle? I'm reading slightly because I don't want to miss any of them, so that's why I keep looking off to the side. I need an auto cue, not quite that high tech yet. So the first step that I went through for myself was to think about my values. You hear a fair bit about that online at the minute, but it is really, don't let the faddiness, it's not a fad, it might be a fad, but it's important to figure out what you value out of life. What do you want to get out of life? What's really makes you happy? What's very central to your feelings of contentment? And they're different for everybody. Start saying no to more things, and even find the opposite of FOMO, JOMO, joy of missing out. Particularly the joy of not having a hangover if you've missed a social event, let's say. Stopping multitasking was a massive one. Now, I'm not saying that I've managed to nail all of this stuff by any means. I catch myself still trying to peg the washing out in the middle of making dinner or whatever. And I have to have a word with myself and say that this is definitely not a more efficient way of doing it, even though it kind of seems like it is. Making a doable plan instead of a perfect plan, like a big plan, like a all bells and whistles plan, just a doable one. Trying to start with right now instead of always working and operating in the future with things that I want to do. So trying to be present. Patience, because quite often with these perfectionist ideals, you're actually rushing towards a future situation and missing what's going on right now. And especially like any sort of health and fitness journey, it might be a weight loss journey, it might not, it might be other health markers or fitness or training for something in particular. It's a long road. There's lots of stuff online that will have you believe that you can get 6-pack abs in like 8 weeks or even shorter. I've seen them in like 14 days. So all nonsense. And patience is like a big hurdle to rush towards some of these goals. Another thing that I've been working on is being deliberate, so doing things on purpose, and i.e. not being on autopilot. So choosing how to spend chunks of my day, chunks of my time, chunks of my energy purposefully and not just have them used up by accident. Regular edits, so just because a set of habits work for you in the spring term, it doesn't mean that they'll work for you in the summer term. It doesn't mean they'll work for you on the build up to Christmas. If you're working on goal A, maybe goal B has to be on the back burner, and then you'll switch them around after 6 months, something like that. So you have to edit your habits along the way because it's not always going to be the same set that work. And finally, that's why I call this challenge Do Less But Better, or the Less But Better challenge. I have been trying to fit less in, but do the things that I'm doing better. Not perfectly, but better. And so I want to leave you with this final thought. Oh, this is a long one, this last one. That when you are choosing where to focus your energy, focus your attention, focus your time, you must at the same time also choose what not to focus on. And therefore, if health and fitness were to come to the forefront for a short chunk of time, maybe 3 months while you sort a project out that you're working on, there may be something else that's going to have to take a back seat for a period of time. Then you might bring your health and fitness onto maintenance, like background level, while you focus on another goal in life. Like, I don't know, you want to move house or get a different job or a promotion or whatever it is. Or you know that one of your kids is going to have a big thing happening. So it's almost like choose what to focus on, but also choose what to not focus on during certain chunks of time when something, it feels like it needs to be in the forefront. By definition, other things need to be in the background. All right, I hope you've enjoyed it. The last video is more kind of what happens now, but thank you for joining us.